The following is a presentation of the Matt Talk Podcast Network.
The mind of Pat Popolizio is a wondrous thing. And for you Pac Wrestling fans, you'll get to go inside the mind of the Skip each and every episode here on the Pac Mentality Pop-Ins podcast. Now, here's your host, NC State Director of Athletics Digital Communications, Brian Reinhardt.
Welcome to a brand new episode of the Pac Mentality Pop-Ins podcast. I am your host, NC State Director of Athletics Digital Communications, Brian Reinhardt. And before we get into full action, I finally found him up at WB. We got Pat Popolizio.
Hey, top of the morning to you here, Brian.
Pat, I know busy time. I'm glad we could catch up, but we haven't given that the fans yet. We haven't done our season preview. So before we get underway, wrestle-offs this weekend. We're going to talk about that a lot more too. We're going to break down your roster. So you've had a lot of time to think about this. I gave you about an hour's notice that we were going to tape this. So I hope you're ready to rock and roll here.
Yeah, always.
But everybody's looking forward to this season. NC State coming in at the coaches' rankings at number 9 this week, and going back over the last 4 seasons, ranked in the top 10, 59 straight weeks. Pat, your guys are used to high expectations, a little bit of a younger crew this year, but does anything change with the expectations that have been going on the past couple of seasons?
No, I think that's something that makes, NC State where it's at today is the expectations are high for all these guys. They know that coming into it, and they set the tone. And the leadership that we have this year, I know these guys expect big things, and they're working towards that goal every day. So, no, that's not a surprise, and that's what we expect of these guys. And I know they are all on the same page as a staff and as a group of athletes.
Have some spots open up at some different weights. Some other guys, they changed weight. So we're just going to go weight by weight. And, we're going to start at 125 because that's what we always do. NC State lost a 4-year NCAA qualifier in Sean Fowles. And the battle to replace him in the PAX lineup, it's going to be among a bunch of wrestlers, some with experience, some new to the lineup. What do you see here early on at 125?
Yeah, I think, it's no surprise that someone's kind of set the tone for success last year, taking a redshirt year. But Jacob Camacho, I think, would be the heavy favorite right now to take that starting spot. But we're followed up with some really good depth and guys that have very good experience across the board there. You look at the guys that we have returning there, they all have good quality matches under their belt, and at any given time, any one of those guys can be a great guy to step in and compete for us if needed. So we're sitting pretty with depth there at 25 and a lot of good experience, and obviously Camacho being young and ready to go right off the rip. Expect big things out of him this year.
There might be a few of his classmates in the lineup, and maybe not for Jacob in particular, but are you comfortable throwing in a redshirt freshman right away?
Yeah, someone that's experienced like him. And you look at the tournaments that he wrestled in last year and the wins that he was able to get, I think there's multiple guys that wrestled in an NCAA tournament that he was able to get wins over. So it kind of showed he's at that level ready to compete. And this is the year he needs to make that next jump to compete to win a national title, because I know that's what he's working towards. And that weight class has got some good depth in it right now. Those top tier guys are really good. And he knows, that's a level that he's working to get. And he's going to put himself in position over time. And we'll see a lot of those guys throughout the year. So he'll be tested come March and ready for that kind of competition. But I'm excited, and I know people will be excited to watch his style of wrestling.
Up at 133, Tariq Wilson, he manned that spot the last 2 years, but he's going to be up at 141. So the battle to replace him, it's going to be highly contested. There's returners and newcomers. Kind of started last weekend at the Battle at the Citadel. Devlin, he defeated Jarrett Trombley in the finals, 3-2 in extra time, and you let those guys battle it out in the tournament. What do you see at 33? There might still be some questions there.
Yeah, I think we still have questions there, but I like what I saw out of Devlin coming out and getting that win for a guy that's been with our program for multiple years now, has shown that he's taken that next step in his career, and got a lot of depth there right now between Trombley, even Kai, and Zerk Storm's going to give that a challenge and see where he stands in the mix of things. So we have some really good quality depth right there, and whoever comes out on top right now, I know is going to be ready to compete with anybody in the country because they're getting pushed in this room right now. So I think that's one of the weight classes that one of these guys got to step up and show that they have separated themselves from the rest in this weight class. And that's something we're looking to see happen as soon as possible. And I think we'll be tested with that, with having Vegas on the schedule early December. I think that's going to be a good showing for whoever is representing us at that weight class. So that'll be interesting to see. But right now, Devlin got the nod with winning the Citadel Open this past weekend.
Going up to 141, we said that's going to be Tariq Wilson. Tariq, he threatened to go up to 197 this summer, but settling on 141. And he's going to start around number 10 in most of the major polls. Last year, he was coming back from third place finish and he got hurt last season, missed a couple months of action, fell one win short of All-American status, and his foot was probably still bothering him. We didn't see Tariq this summer. How has he been? How is he going into the season now?
It's good. The biggest thing was getting him healed up. And unfortunately, when you're in the season, a lot of times you got to wrestle through some injuries. And that's something we had to finish out the year. We took as much time off as we could, got cleared. And sometimes you see, momentum gets killed in that. And regardless of the situation, everybody's dealing with injuries and setbacks. And, we went out there, we competed hard, but we didn't get the job done. And so I think that's lit some fire underneath him, and I expect him to be right in the mix of things, competing to win an NCAA title this year because he has every tool that you need to compete with anybody. He's very dangerous. He's very unique, very tough to wrestle, and his demeanor, I think, speaks volumes for the kind of kid that he is when it comes time to compete because the bigger the show, I think the more he rises to that occasion. But he's going to be, again, fun to watch, and guys voted him a captain this year for a reason. I think that says everything for him.
Going up to 149, and I think this is just like 133 right now. Wide open competition. A lot of guys competing. Justin Oliver, he was here last year, but he's graduated. And his replacement, it's going to be from a young guy. We do know that. Down at the Battle at the Citadel, AJ Lighton, he defeated Matt Grippy, but then Grippy, he defeated Matt Fields. So those three seem to be competing for that spot. What do you see at 149?
Yeah, we're neck and neck right now. We got three guys right now that do a lot of things they need to do to be successful. And now we need one of those guys to show that they can go out and win at the national level. And we feel confident over time we're going to continue to develop these guys. They're working to continue to get better as individuals. And that's that old saying, the competition is going to make competition better. And we need these guys to rise to the occasion and someone to separate themselves from the rest of the group. And we're hoping our open tournament will kind of dictate a lot of that. AJ right now, got the nod, and he'll probably be the guy right now wrestling in some of these dual meets coming up. And then from there, we're going to let the open in Vegas dictate a lot of that, and as well as the scuffle. I think if we can get consistency out of one guy and showing that he's, the guy better than the rest, then that'll be the guy starting for us.
You talk about consistency. We have it, 157. Redshirt junior Hayden Hiley, he returns for his third year, All-American each of his first 2 years. Consensus number one to start the year. What kind of pressure do you think that puts on Hayden?
I think it's expectations for him. It's nothing new that he's not used to, and he sets the bar high in everything that he's doing academically, athletically, the leadership within our program, the kind of person he is outside this room. He's a perfectionist, and I think he's ready for it. I think he's shown the growth that he's as an athlete and as just a person in general, and his time is now, and he needs to go out and just earn all his wins, which he knows it's guys are scouting and going to be ready for him, but he trains so hard that he will be in position to win every single match he competes in this year, and he's a true competitor. So we're blessed to have him here, and his leadership skills go beyond just what's going on the mat. I think in the room, he's extremely valuable to this program. So we're excited to have him go out and compete to win it this year.
We didn't see him do too much freestyle this summer. Do you think that's an advantage compared to last year when he was kind of doing both the whole summer and even leading up into the season? Yeah,
it was one of those. We looked and analyzed how much wrestling he's been doing since he got here to NC State, and it's been basically full throttle the whole time since he's been here with very little breaks. And, our focus right now is on winning an NCAA title, and we've kind of shifted that towards what we need to do, and he knows what he needs to do. So we kind of trained through the summer. We didn't compete as much, and we're ready to make a run here over the next several months.
We're going to go back-to-back Bullard brothers, starting at 165. Thomas, he's ranked number 10 by Flow and number 10 by Intermed. And I think 165 at the ACC levels, it's gotten kind of sneaky good here recently with some guys changing weights. But we know what the Bullard brothers are all about. How do you see both Thomas and Daniel performing here in their third seasons as starters?
I see a breakthrough year for both these guys. You know, they've been with our program now basically going on 4 years, and we recruited both of them to come here and compete to win national titles as they've done in high school. And I think this is a year you're going to see both these guys step up to the plate and compete probably at a little higher level than you've seen in the years past. And sometimes guys' styles take a little longer, but these guys are true competitors and are working extremely hard right now in our room to improve on positions that they know they got to get better in. But at the end of the day, when you put them out there, these guys both like to compete. They've won in the past, and I expect them to step up big this year and accomplish what they set out to do. And you know, again, this is going to be a big piece to the puzzle for our team. When you can throw in two guys that get to that next level, having 10 starters would be critical for this year. So I'm looking forward to seeing both these guys out there competing.
Up at 184 pounds, two-time NCAA qualifier Nick Reenan, he's going to be moving up to 197. So it appears right now, redshirt freshman Trent Hidley, he's going to fill that role. And he's a few months off from winning that silver medal at the 2019 Junior World Championships in Estonia. And
bronze.
Oh, yeah, I messed up.
That's all right, though. I shouldn't have corrected you. I thought silver sounded good.
Yeah, silver sounds great. He should have won at least.
Yes.
Okay.
I like that.
Well, okay. Well, now I'm thrown off here.
I'm glad I got you flustered.
But I swear, you know, the Hidleys, they have the same attitude. Trent might be 30 pounds above Hayden there, but you know what you're going to get from those guys. What do you expect from Trent in his first season here in your lineup?
Compete. You know, he's a competitor. He wants to win everything. And that's elevated the whole level of this program, having guys like him and Hayden here training. Everybody's had to step up their game. And it doesn't matter if we're playing paintball or whatever this summer when he was trying to, or actually a couple weeks ago when he was trying to get me. These guys want to win everything. And that's what you need to win a national title. You got to be able to compete in every aspect of life. These guys are true competitors and do everything they need to do to put themselves in position as far as lifestyle, mentality, work ethic, schoolwork. They are it to a T. And we're, you know, the leadership skills that both these guys have. Again, the team voted guys captains for a reason. Both these guys, you know, I think that speaks for Trent when you're a freshman and your team's voting you a captain. That says a lot. But he's proved that he can win. It was at 74, and then we saw some growth in this, you know, weight-wise, and we figured his style of wrestling matched up very well for 184, and he was able to put that muscle mass on. It showed at the World Championships that he can compete with anybody in the world, and he expects to go out and compete for a national title this year, and we're going to let it fly, and I know it's going to be exciting to watch him do that.
Now, you had the Bullards, you had the Hidleys. Last year, you had the Morses. Are brothers, when they're in the lineup together, are they harder on each other, or what's the dynamic there?
Yeah, I think we've seen a lot of that over time, and I think the biggest thing is keeping these guys composed when their family members are out there competing, because it's, you know, there's a lot that goes into it. You know how hard both guys are working, and that's, to me, one of the bigger things is keeping everybody's composure when family members, even teammates, are out there competing, because these guys have such a strong bond, and they know how hard and how much it means to each other. So it's momentum, and that goes a long way, but I know these guys are going to be fun to watch, having in the lineup, competing together, both sets of brothers.
197, Rick Neenan.
Yeah. I like that. We're going to go with a new name.
I tell you what, no, because
that's got you flustered too.
No, because that's his Twitter name, and it messes me up every time. Nick Reenan, he's top 10 in every ranking. Everybody wants to know, he suffered the injury last year, was out during the summer. How has he been? What's your expectations for him?
His rehab's been phenomenal. We're very conservative in his comeback, and we waited a little longer, which I'm glad, and it was tough to do, but he just got cleared this past week to start back up full go, and his progress has been unbelievable. He's put a lot of muscle and just a little bit of fat on. So he's made that jump to 197, and it's the same thing. You know, he was one of the top recruits in the country coming here to NC State. We brought him here because we believe he can win a national title. He's done that in the freestyle side of things, competed at the highest level you can and beaten some of the best guys. in the country at that senior level. Now we got to do it at the national level. And, it was a setback last year for him, but I give him a lot of credit because a lot of guys would have probably hung it up for the year, but he wanted to do what he thought was best for himself and the team. And he went out there and competed basically on one leg and, won matches at obviously the ACCs and NCAAs. And that's the kind of guy he is. He's a competitor. And now that he's back to 100% and going up to a weight class we think fits his style even better, it's going to be fun to watch him compete because I believe he's as good as anybody at that weight class to win an NCAA title this year.
I was going to say, this will be his third year in the lineup. He was at 174, then 184, and now 197, third different weight class. How has he adapted to all that, and was it a positive for him?
I think it speaks for him. He's a team player when it comes to that, and he knows that his style of wrestling might mirror a little better with that, being really good in some of the positions he's going to see up at 97. And throw the training situation here at NC State, why would you not want to get bigger? And, you got a guy like Mock that won NCAAs at 197, so we know what we need to do to continue success there. And you got training partners all around you that are going to push you here at NC State being a 97-pounder. So it's fair game for Nick.
Last year at 285, you said many times you wanted clarity. Kind of a three-headed monster now. You have two true sophomores who had to wrestle as true freshmen. You brought in a new freshman. What do you see at 285?
I see we've made some huge improvements at this weight for this coming year. Deontay's improved tremendously this offseason. And then you throw Owen in the mix of things, who's one of the top heavyweights in the country from high school coming in. It's elevated everybody's game, and you need that. There's different styles of wrestling at a heavyweight, but all these guys are working extremely hard, and we'll let them figure out who's going to be the guy this year. But I liked what I saw out of Owen this past weekend. He was aggressive. He took a lot of shots. It's hard to do as a true freshman at a heavyweight, and reminds me a lot, when Nick was a true freshman, he made a lot of mistakes, but wrestled aggressive, and, he had a lot of losses that true freshman year, but come the end of the season, he fixed the mistakes he was making and was able to place at the NCAA tournament. And that's something you're going to see anytime you have a true freshman here that's really good. They're going to start off making mistakes, and the best guys figure it out over time. Take a couple losses, and they'll fix those mistakes so it doesn't happen twice.
Exciting breakdown. Tell us, Saturday, I assume outdoors.
Yes.
Okay.
We're still talking about some logistics, but yeah, we plan to do it outdoors in front of the PNC.
And we're talking about the wrestle-offs, obviously.
Yes, correct. The wrestle-offs. It will be a little colder than expected, but I think our guys are tough enough to handle it. They voted that they want to continue this outside. I've given them the option to pull it inside, but talking to the captains, they think it's best to continue to do this outside. And like they said, it's only 7 to 10 minutes outside wrestling, a little cold. And as long as the mat's not slippery, we're going to continue to do it. And that's something that's out of our control. We watched, a couple years ago, maybe it was just 2 years ago, Nick wrestled to beat the streets at night, and the humidity was just right, and the mat got real slippery. So sometimes that's the risk you take by doing it outside, but we want to continue to grow and get some new people involved in our program. And I think it's one of those when you see this group compete and how hungry and competitive they are, you're going to want to back them and support them. And that's the goal, is when we do this outside, get to meet these guys, say hi to them, stop by, and enjoy the wrestle-offs.
So fans can get their first glimpse of the 2019-20 squad this weekend prior to the NC State Clemson football game. NC State Wrestling is going to hold their wrestle-offs on Saturday at 4 o'clock at the PNC East entrance, and that is the student gate for men's basketball. And Pat, before I get you out of here, not to give a specific breakdown, but who do you expect to see? Is this an open competition for some weights? How are you treating wrestle-offs this year? As it's still before the season, but it's awfully really close to the season here.
Yeah, we're going to go over today at practice, but we've, as a staff, mapped out who we feel is going to get the best matchups from our guys. And, obviously some weight classes are challenging to see who's going to start, who's not. And then some, we just need to get a match under our belt down to weight on a 1 hour weigh-in, getting ready for start of our official dual meet season next Friday. The 15th?
The 15th against Old Dominion.
Correct.
And Reynolds.
So a lot of this is a trial run to make sure we cut our weight the right way. We are disciplined. We're focused. Our warm-up, we kind of hit routine. And then, yes, we got guys that know what they need to do. We just got to get back in a routine system here And that's kind of what we're wanting to see. And there will be a couple weights. I felt pretty confident that the guys that won at the Citadel will represent us in the Old Dominion duel. And if something changes, we'll figure that out. And then that weekend will dictate a lot as the following week of who goes to Vegas. So that's kind of our mindset as a staff right now. And probably the rest of the guys in this team understand what we're trying to accomplish.
As long as the SID gets to go to Vegas, we're all good. I'm still trying to earn my keep for that one.
Yeah, we're going to have you carry a couple bags. If we get you to carry bags, you coming?
I do whatever I can do. I stay out of the way. I'm
that's
quiet.
Being around the bush.
I don't get my per diem until the end of the trip.
Yeah, I got to hold that back. You and Will.
Pat, great catching up. Obviously, a lot of excitement. We'll be back next time. We're going to break down that ODU duel next time. But thanks for giving us the season update. And again, we want to see everybody out there for the wrestle-offs. Take time from your tailgate. Come on over. Even if you're not going to the football game, still stop by, as Pat said. Talk to the coaches, talk to the athletes, and just watch NC State wrestling in action.
Thanks for everything, Brian. Good work.
A first-time guest on the Pack Mentality Pop-Ins podcast. Today, we welcome redshirt junior Kellen Devlin. Kellen, thanks for joining us right before you head into practice up here at WB.
Great to be on. Let's just say that.
Bringing the personality strong. I like it. You texted me saying you were here and ready an hour before I asked you to be here. So you're excited.
Yeah, someone say just a little bit of initiative. Never hurt nobody.
Now, before we get into the upcoming season, a little background on yourself. You're from Amherst, New York. A lot of New Yorkers on this wrestling team. Where is Amherst?
Amherst. So Amherst is like a little neighborhood of Buffalo. And then when people think of New York, obviously they think of like New York City or Long Island. So it's actually pretty fun to, first of all, just ask people. I go, oh, yeah, I'm from Buffalo. Do you have any idea what that is? They just think it's synonymous with snow and Buffalo chicken wings, so they have no idea. But it's all the way in western New York. So if you're looking at the map of New York in your head, it's all the way left of the state, pretty much 30 minutes from Niagara Falls.
Are you one of the Bills Mafia?
Yeah, I've been through some tables. And I've also put people through some tables.
Shout out Bill Cook, Bills Mafia. But so you're from very northern part of the state. Who on this team do you consider a true New Yorker, since a lot of guys claim that they are?
A true New Yorker? Oh, man. Because of this made-up rivalry of downstate and upstate, I just don't want to add like Tommy Cox in there or Deontay, because I don't know. I'm just going to stay true to my roots. If they want to make like a big rivalry, I'm just going to say me, Jake Cook. Definitely Jake Cook. He's the most New Yorker because he's a big Bills fan. So Jake and Bill, they're my boys.
Okay. I was hoping you wouldn't go against Tommy Cox. There seems to be that rivalry there. But New York, what made you decide to head down to NC State for college?
Well, I was wrestling and doing a bunch of open tournaments and off-season tournaments, and really the opportunity presented itself with both Frank Beasley, who recruited me because I knew Frank for a little bit because he coached at Buffalo. So he lived in Buffalo, and when I was a kid, I met him and was a friend of his. But then also, Pat reached out to me after seeing me, I think maybe at the Journeyman Classic, let's say sophomore year.
Any qualms about coming down? Do you consider this the South?
What the heck is qualms?
I stumped you.
No idea what that means.
Were you nervous at all about moving down south?
No, actually, I figured.
Well, hold on. Now you got me nervous. I said that word wrong, but I'm pretty sure I said it right.
Somebody can Google. I don't know. No, I don't put it past me. I'm not a dictionary. There's probably a lot more words you're going to say that I don't know.
This coming from an honor roll student. May I remind you?
Sport management.
Okay.
Say it with an asterisk. But, yeah, no, I didn't mind. I actually preferred to be, if I were to move away, like a considerable distance away from home, I would rather be in the South just because like the weather. So if I'm not going to be like in my own backyard where I can go home a bunch, if I am going to be away, rather be the South.
First few years here, you bounced around between 133, 141. Obviously, you're at 133 this season. What makes that a good weight for you?
I think that's where I naturally wrestle the best and I feel the best, and I would say look the best as well. Get rid of my love handles. But I think it's just trimming the fat and getting down. I think some people say I'm short. I'm around 5'6", so
That's not short?
that's not short at all. My license says 5'4", but I'm just saying I think I'm a little too small for like a natural, a real full 41-pounder.
A lot of tattoos. Do you have a favorite?
Oh, that's like asking a father like his favorite child. You know?
How about reverse? Do you have a regret?
Do I have? No, I don't have any regrets for tattoos, but I think as I see more and like obviously I live longer, more ideas pop in my head. Like my right arm's taken up, so maybe I see something on the internet and I go, oh, that would have been cool too to put in replace, not as a substitute, but maybe I could have gone this direction. It takes up a lot of my time
And a lot of money. Tattoos aren't cheap.
Yeah, but I always what's the word?
Qualm.
Definitely. I always rationalize it with that I'll spend money on this because it's on me forever. Okay. It's not like a haircut where after a week I'm like, dang, I gotta spend more money. It's literally a lifetime.
How is the weight cut to get to 133? You probably had to cut out some of those New York delicacies, I assume.
Yeah, no more wings or chicken finger subs. Some people here in the South don't even know what chicken finger sub is. That's like my favorite food. But weight cut, it's a necessary evil, I think, in the sport, except for like maybe a few people. But it's not fun, obviously, but with the right diet and doing it the correct way, and like our nutritionists and Pat and the coaches all preach, it's definitely manageable.
Plus, the lack of per diem they give you kind of helps on road trips sometimes.
Yeah, the lack of per diem.
All right, so your season got underway last weekend. 13 guys went down to Charleston for the battle at the Citadel. Coaches used that tournament. It was sort of a wrestle-off for a couple weights, including at 133. And on that day, you went 3-0. You got the tournament title. How would you assess your performance down there?
I would say it's my performance. I felt good. Obviously, just walking away, like just overall. Obviously, I can't say I was terrible because I did go undefeated. But I felt good. It was the first time down to weight. These tournaments are crucial, mostly because it's first time wrestling somebody that's not your own teammate, and since last March, let's say. So you get those butterflies beginning of the season, but you get down to weight, wrestle, perform, being with a real referee, real environment, and overall it was a good takeaway. Glad I could win it.
So with Tariq going up to 141, obviously an open spot at 133, the coaches are looking at you every day in practice, especially at this tournament. Was there pressure on you this past tournament knowing that?
I think there's an underlying pressure every athlete in any sport puts on themselves, no matter what the circumstance, whether it's just maybe a live go in practice or it's the national finals. So I think no matter what the circumstance was of who's moving up to what weights are solidified, what weights are completely open, the pressure is the same, whatever that may be for the individual.
So you started with a bye, you got a quick tech, and then scored a pin to move into the finals. And on that pin, you got that cradle locked up really good. It took a little bit of a while. How hard is it to get a pin off of a cradle? Because I'm assuming his shoulder's right on your shoulder, and you were really moving around, and that ref was really moving. He was trying to get the best angle, but the cradle took a little while to get a pin.
You're telling me. Let's just say that I've been a culprit of locking up a cradle and putting someone to their back and spending upwards of 2 minutes just to not even get a pin. And then your arms are fried out for the rest of the match. You're tired the rest of the match. You put so much energy into it. So as I put the guy to his back and the referee's not giving it to me right away, I'm like thinking in my head, I go, oh my gosh, how much time is left in the period? Am I not going to get this pin? Am I going to have energy for the rest of the match? There's a lot of things I'm thinking in that moment. And then he actually bellied out one time while I had it locked up. I re-cinched it, got my grip back, looked up at the clock. There's about 50 seconds left. I said, I don't want to keep wrestling. I got to put this away. So I put my head in the side and tripod up and finally got it with about 30-ish seconds left.
You made the finals at 133, obviously. The ultimate wrestle-off. You faced your teammate, Jared Trombley. Now, it's rare when teammates meet in those early tournaments, but how hard is it to wrestle somebody that you scrap with in practice?
Yeah, like you just said, it's super hard because I know what he does. And this is not even just for me and Trombley or me or the other 33s. It's an underlying thing, any inner squad.
Well, we saw it at 49, too.
Exactly, yeah. And those got 3 guys and even 33s. So we were supposed to even have more people at 33 than ended up going to the tournament this weekend. But you wrestle everybody. You wrestle these guys. They're your training partners. You guys get each other better every day. So really, it's kind of like an asterisk of who wins. It's really more important of who can actually perform against other competition, who can just score points for the team against other competition in important dual meets and important tournament situations, opposed to who can score one more point than the other against somebody they wrestle every day.
Now, the video, they kind of had 4 screens in one, so it was a little hard to see here on this little laptop. Mm-hmm. 3-2, extra time, no takedowns. It went the extra period. What exactly happened in that? I guess it was, the 4th and 5th overtime periods.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. You're just asking me kind of because during the overtimes, once we went into overtime, I thought to myself, shoot, I don't even know how. I don't even know how many overtime matches I've had in college. I go, how does this? Kind of on my fault. I go, how that? I don't even know how they do this overtime. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm just gonna roll with the punches and learn as we go. But yeah, scoreless first period. I get out in the second period. He gets out in the third period. Pretty much locked horns, and then no takedown. And then what happened is I went down. I got out probably halfway through the 30-second go, so with 15 seconds left. No takedown, and then the last one, he goes down now. So it's my job to. Or no, I reversed him, and then he got out.
Yeah, I was going to say, you reversed him the one period.
Yeah, yep. So I went down, I reversed him, he got out, which is just a one point advantage. It's pretty much the same as if I were.
Which is weird to me, as a non-wrestling person, that a reversal in that extra time doesn't really.
Do you know that when it happened, actually, I reversed him, and then literally was on top of him for like 1 second till he escaped. But in my head, I go, sweet, I got a reversal. Oh, he got out. Then the period ends, and I look, I'm like, yeah, I could have just escaped. The reversal held no clout whatsoever. So yeah, I had a 1 point advantage going the last 30 seconds, and then he goes down. So I thought to myself, I literally just have to ride. I think I got 1 stall call in that 30 seconds, and then we restarted. He almost gets out again, and I hold him off, and then it was that was all.
So tell our fans this year when they're watching you, what are you most comfortable in? What do you like? Neutral? Do you like to start on top? Would you go down? What do you think?
I feel like that answer changes every day. It depends what kind of practice I have. I'll be like wrestling in practice, and if I get a lot of takedowns one day, I'm like, God, I am a freak on my feet. I'm so good. And then if I get ridden out all practice, maybe I'm like, I don't know, my hands are heavy or something, and I can't get out on bottom, I just beat myself up. I'm like,
But is it not, don't you want to go to practice and kind of get beaten up some days and seeing what you need to work on?
Mostly that's applicable to like positional wise. Yeah, it's
applicable?
Not what did I say?
No, you said it right. I like that. That's a big word.
Yeah.
You've improved here since.
I know.
Okay.
I just had to get warmed up, right?
Okay.
But yeah, absolutely. It's applicable to like situationals. Like I know like today I'm going to work on getting out of legs on bottom. But I would just say for your answer, neutral, mostly because I think it's the most fun.
Yeah, people like to shoot and
people like to watch it too.
Yeah. Another big opportunity this weekend for those open starting spots with the wrestle-offs being held on Saturday. I've asked Pat this question, but from an athlete perspective, how big are wrestle-offs for you guys?
Personally, I don't care about wrestling. Like I said earlier, wrestle-offs really, and I think Pat would agree to me.
Well, we're trying to get people here.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. But the wrestle-off, it's cool to watch a dual meet like against each other, I guess. But in the long run of what it means, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I could go out there and tech the second string 33-pounder on our team, and then I go out against other people in other duels and outside competition, and I can't score 1 point, but they can. All that matters is how you fare against the rest of the country. So that will iron itself out, is what I'm saying, throughout the months and through the long 4-month season.
All right, fans, we still want you to come out and watch the wrestle-offs.
Absolutely. Okay. But hey, you asked. To me personally.
Horrible question. My God. But again, Wolfpack fans, if you're going to the NC State Clemson football game this Saturday, make sure you come over and check out the NC State wrestle-offs. Action's going to get underway at 4 o'clock. Matt is going to be located on the east side of PNC Arena, which is the student gate for men's basketball, and looks like a little adversity with some cold temperatures. Have you checked out the weather? Do you plan on wrestling with a parka or anything? I mean, it's going to be cold.
You know who you're talking to. I'm from Buffalo.
Okay. But, okay, I'm from
It's going to be hot.
But see, I'm from Pittsburgh. My northern blood is long gone. I didn't know if it's affected you too.
Yeah, I act tough, but actually when it hits below like 80, I put a jacket on and everything. I'm
wearing long sleeves today. It's 70 degrees out today.
Yeah, exactly.
Really nice. I'm
wearing sweatpants and a long sleeve. So, but like I said, I'm from Buffalo, so maybe that'll help.
Being over at a football game, you an NC State football fan at all? Do you get to go? You guys are always so busy. You have workouts before games, I know.
Yeah, like during our preseason when everyone's like when usually the student body is most excited for football season because it's getting back in the swing of things, that's when we're hitting the track 3 hours before. So that kind of takes the wind out of your sail and literally takes the energy out of your Saturday to go. So I go when the recruits, and I went to actually the fall break Thursday night game.
Syracuse.
The Syracuse game. Yeah, and Syracuse only being three hours from where I'm from.
Another New York school.
Yeah, so I said, I'll go to that. So people that stayed in town and who didn't go home to their native states for fall break, we went to the football game. It was fun. It was cool under the lights kind of atmosphere.
Well, we're going to be under the lights again. Come on out. Football, actually, I know you're going to be at this game because you guys are being recognized in the second half.
Yep.
Did you know that?
Yep.
Okay.
We're going to that. I think it was like, we got the email saying in the third quarter even, like maybe the first intermission or something through the third quarter. But yeah, we'll be there. And Clemson's a good team, so I'll be excited to watch that.
NC State Wrestling is going to be on the football field. Come enjoy the wrestle-offs. Kellen, thanks for joining us on the podcast. Good luck this season as everybody's really excited to watch those Wolfpack wrestling matches.
Brian, thanks for having me. Can't wait to be back.
I want to thank everybody for listening today. This is your Pack Mentality Pop-Ins podcast covering all things NC State Wrestling. Until next time, Wolfpack Wrestling fans, go Pack.
Mentality Pop-Ins podcast is produced by the Mat Talk Podcast Network. For more wrestling podcasts, go to mattalkonline.com.